So I've been getting through a lot of books since I started taking cocaine. But that's just reading between the lines. That's going to be the level I'm up for the next 7 minutes. Get on board now. Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah, get around, round, round, I get around, round, round. So that's my impression of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys offering to buy everyone a drink. Thank you to the three of you that applauded that. That made this all worthwhile. So hello, my name is Scott Redmond. I came down from Scotland for this. So to the judges in the audience, that does make me the away team. All my laughs are worth double. And it's been nice just being in London for a few days. Got down on Saturday, been taking in the culture a bit. For example, I went over to the Globe, and I didn't know this before. This is a fun fact for all of you. If Shakespeare were alive today, he'd be the world's oldest man! It's true. So when I come down to England as well, a lot of people, they don't know what my accent is. It's a bit weird because I'm Scottish. Both my parents were born in Ireland. My dad, very, very strong Irishman, very, very proud Irishman. He moved to Scotland when he was in his teen years. When he was 16, he got drunk and got a tattoo of the Irish flag on his upper arm. But he got it the wrong way around. So technically, he's just a very strong Ivory Coast nationalist. Very good. The other thing, he supports Irish nationalism, you know, the way a lot of Catholic Irishmen of a certain age do. But he supports it a lot like other people support football teams. So, for example, he always watches out for Sinn Féin's results. He has a football top with Gerry Adams' name on the back. He sings all the songs, and he claims that he once had a trial with the IRA when he was a teenager, but his knee went. He's never going to make it as a professional. I'm Romany. I'm a Romany gypsy. That's another thing that kind of affects who I am as a person. And I was doing this gig the other week, and this guy, I said I was Romany gypsy. It's one of those ethnicities that people still feel they can say horrible, bigoted things about. So I was doing this gig the other room. This guy at the back shouts, "Go back to where you came from!" And I didn't know what to do. He had fundamentally misunderstood my ethnicity. Where's Liechtenstein? Where's Luxembourg? Oh, it's fine. Like, I don't even have a response to that. It's fine. We're going to move on. Confidence, Redmond. Confidence. But so, do you have gypsies back home?
In Luxembourg?
Yeah. Do you have gypsies? That's fine. 8 minutes, we'll move on, but I like your enthusiasm. A lot of people just don't know that much about us. For example, I used to date this American girl, and she'd never heard of us until our first date. So I was explaining that we came out of India originally, so Asia, about 800 years ago. And since then, we faced persecution, slavery, and genocide, eventually resulting in the Holocaust. And we faced the repercussions of that ever since. And this girl I was on the date with, she looks at me with these big eyes, these big, beautiful eyes full of love, and she goes, "Oh, so you guys are like Jews on wheels." And I genuinely don't know if that's offensive or not. The other thing that's weird, so I'm single, and it's weird being single when you're Romany. So I was talking to my mum about this the other day, and she says to me, "Scott, why don't you just settle down with a nice Romany girl, a nice gypsy girl?" And I said to her, "Mum, I've literally never met a Romany girl before I wasn't directly blood related to." And she says this really funny thing to me. She says, "Yes." The last thing about my ethnicity, and I'll move on, is I'm being really annoyed. So the BBC are producing a film this year. It's called Gypsy Boy, and it's about this little Romany kid who wants to be a journalist, but his dad wants him to be a boxer. He wants him to grow up to be a boxer, and it's that kind of internal struggle within our culture. And the BBC were trying to think, who can we get to play this gruff, working-class Romany father figure? This gruff, working-class gypsy dad. Who can we get to play him? So obviously they got Benedict Cumberbatch. But I thought about it, Bloomsbury, and it does make sense. It does make sense. So, you know, we are often mistaken for being white because we may appear white passing, we may look white. Benedict Cumberbatch is often mistaken for being white because he's white. It does make sense. We're often referred to by class derogatory exonyms such as gypsy and pikey. Benedict Cumberbatch is often referred to by class derogatory exonyms such as Benedict Cumberbatch. It does make sense. We originally came out of India 800 years ago. Benedict Cumberbatch went on a gap year to India. and played the character Khan in Star Trek. It does make sense. It does make sense. It's like that old song, isn't it? It's like that old song, you know, I think I'm turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese, I really think so. I think I'm turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese, I really think so. And by that I mean I'm being played by Scarlett Johansson in an upcoming film. The other thing to note is I have a lot of mental health issues, which as a comedian in 2021 you need to talk about. That's how you get on Netflix. And so I have an eating disorder. I have a lot of issues with the way I look, the way I appear. So obviously the best thing to do with that is to stand on stage in front of a bunch of strangers.
If you don't laugh enough at this next bit, I'm not gonna eat for a month. Laugh harder, substitute father. Love me.
So I went to see my GP recently. I went to see my GP recently, and I was talking to her because it's been getting worse again. And I said to her, so I'm a medical student. I've had a lot of stress due to that. I just went through this breakup. That's been very stressful for me. A member of my family passed away. I've just had a lot of stress. And she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, so you've had a lot on your plate recently?" And I go, "No, Brenda! That's exactly the issue!" And I think that's interesting, isn't it? I try not to let it get in the way of my jokes. I try not to let my mental health get in the way of my jokes. For example, so these two men walk into a bar. And the bartender says, "Why the long face?" And the two men say to me, "Scott, just once, could you try and get the joke right?" And I said, "I'm sorry. I've been going through a hard time recently. It's been a hard time for me. I had a great thing and it's gone. She's gone and she's not coming back. I don't want to just stand up here and do these silly little jokes anymore. I can't take it." And the two men say to me, "Scott, we're sorry. We didn't realize. Just do your jokes one more time and we'll talk about it when you get off stage." So this horse walks into a bar, notices the awkward atmosphere and leaves. So this horse walks into a bar. I've got 4 of these. So this horse walks into a bar, and the bartender says, "Why the long face?" And the horse says, "Well, there are 2 generally recognized theories. One is evolution. Over the course of millions and millions and millions of years," oh, you're such a university audience, "my species fell into certain ecological niche, which was preferable to have a long face. And that trait was passed on from generation to generation to generation until eventually my parents passed it on to me." Or 2, creative design. "There's a godlike creature, if you will, who designed my species and thought that having a long face was the best thing for us." And the bartender says, "No, I just meant you looked a little bit upset." And the horse says, "Oh yeah, my wife just died." So this horse walks into a bar and says, "Face!" And the bartender says, "Oh my God, you can talk." And finally, so this Jewish horse walks into a bar mitzvah. It's fine, if you put some wheels on that, I'm allowed to say it. This has been fun. This has been worth the 10-hour train ride just for you applauding me doing the Beach Boys. I have been Scott Redmond, that guy. Thank you. See you again.